Welcome back. I'm Dr. Rob Malillo with my wife Carolyn, and our next guest is a successful musician, filmmaker who is living with Tourette's syndrome. Stephen DeJoseph has taken his experiences of living with Tourette's and filmed a new documentary called A Synaptic Adventure, Tourette's and Beyond. He joins us now. Welcome, Stephen.
Robert, thanks for having me here.
Well, you know, we were talking to you earlier, and just your whole story is fascinating. But tell us about how this all kind of started with you, this convergence of Tourette's and music and art. How did that start?
Well, at age 6, I had two things happen simultaneously, almost practically simultaneously. I was watching the Beatles, and I was inspired by the music, and I really just wanted to be creative and explore a life of creating in music. And then simultaneously again was the ticking and urges and things that I couldn't explain.
And that's when you started around 6 years old.
Yes,
so
yeah.
You found those two together. I think that's really fascinating. So what I think is great is that you've put this down and you've collaborated with others to create this movie. What's the purpose of the movie? What are you trying to get across in the movie? And tell us about the movie itself.
The film was made out of a desire to communicate what I feel is a universal message, which was adaptation, collaboration, exploration. So because all these things take place when you have something you're dealing with and you don't know what it is.
Right.
So I wanted to get that across as a performer, as an artist and entertainer.
So tell us what the movie is about. Can you tell us a little bit about the script?
Yes. Essentially, it starts out saying that I'm 6 years old and I have all these drives and desires and I don't understand what's going on. And it works its way into exploring each symptom in it with musical and humorous observations.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So I know Carol and I were talking about, what would you like to be the message? What would you like people to take home when they walk out of the theater and they see this film or they see it on TV? Carolyn had picked out a beautiful quote.
I love this story in Hayden's Film Institute magazine. It's a beautiful article on you, and they ask you, what do you expect people to take away? And you respond, the world has enough destroyers, we need healers. Sometimes it helps to build on something like that. I want it to be like a portal into some aspect of life that we otherwise block out, and that's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
It makes
so
me
beautiful.
almost make me cry hearing that, right?
Absolutely beautiful. Where did you get this strength? Who inspired you to be such a strong individual and go out there and represent this, I don't even want to call it a disorder because you're so talented and gifted. What made you want to do something like this?
I think what happens when you're driven by a passion, that it makes up for deficits. Something obsesses you, and focusing it in a creative way, I think that's the thing that helps to deal with. So it's not so much a plan that I'm going to be this way per se, at first, as a child.
You're right.
Your first really inclination is that you see this thing you love and you want to be part of it, no matter what gets in your way, go over any obstacle,
It's fantastic. It's very inspirational. It really is, because you're saying you had ADHD, OCD, and Tourette's together, and yet you were able to create such an incredible message for everybody.
And it's obviously resonating because it just won an award, didn't it?
Several, Bucks County Film
Bucks
Festival,
County Films Festival.
Washington, D.C.
Right.
Yeah.
It won Best Film?
Yes.
Or Best
Well, it got
Documentary?
selected, which
Right.
was a process in itself.
Yeah, that's great. Well, one of the things we talk about, and I talk about neurologically, is that when you see something like Tourette's, ADHD, autism, they often are in people that have incredibly strong areas of their brain, and these areas of the brain get out of rhythm. And so you have these incredible talents, so it's important to be able to explore those and use those, as well as address the weaknesses as well. So what would you say to somebody that has Tourette's, or even maybe more importantly, a parent of a child with Tourette's, like looking back and saying, how would you have liked to have been parented? Would there be things that you would wanted your parent to do? And what can they do to explore that creativity that their children may have?
I would say to encourage them to practice and get involved with anything that they love doing. One of the that's a very crucial thing right there, a very crucial point I want to drive home, because I can't emphasize how important it is to have them focused on something they love doing and support them and get to know these different aspects of Tourette's and not just the one thing.
Right. Yeah.
And you were saying also, art is a right-brained
stimulation.
right, so you're actually helping your brain. You're
Right.
actually curing yourself
Right,
in a way
by doing it,
by
yeah.
doing
You're
this.
participating in the process, and it is a process. You know?
Yes.
It's a process that you need to get involved with, from the way you think about it to the things that you do with it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so I will mention real quickly that this film, what's happened is that my decision to do it changed a lot of things, and I had thought about it for years, and finally got to do it. I got into the Bucks Film Festival, then it grew from there. My most recent positive thing is I got support from the Hayden Films Institute. You say, and see, together we're creating an educational platform to
Right.
screen and you
Yeah.
know.
Well, how can, because we have a few seconds left, how can people find out more about this? Where can they go?
They can go to synapticadventure.com,
Okay.
haydenfilmsinstitute.org.
Okay.
It will tell them about the upcoming screening in May 21st, and all about our mission statement, you know, what
Wow.
we're trying to do.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
really
you,
appreciate
Stephen.
it.
Thank you for
Stephen
having
D.
me.
Joseph,
Great.
thank you so much for
Great.
joining us. When we come back, we will meet Nicole Greco from New Jersey Center for Tourette Syndrome and Associated Disorders. She will share with us what they are doing to help support those living with Tourette's. So we'll be right back.